The Here's Your Crown playlist is now known as the Recreation Inspiration playlist, and this video is a part of that playlist. More about that later on in this video. Keep watching. I'm recreating Brenda's 3 DIYs from her first fall video of the season. Her DIY number 1 is my project number 1, and I call it a fall porch sign. So I have been saving these vertical Easter signs or sign blanks, and I've been using them slowly but surely. And so this one I'm going to do a couple coats of white chalk paint and get it ready for the CRICUT letters. So I did my own fonts. I did a hello, and then I did separate letters, F-A-L-L, and I was so excited that I had the fall colors. So I end up doing mine a little bit different than Brenda's. Instead of putting the letters to the left and putting some decorations on the side, I end up just doing mine down the middle, just because I wanted the colors in the letters to be the star of the show. Here you'll see me measuring out some shiplap type lines. Brenda used separate pieces of wood that had tops like on a gate or a fence, and I'm just using this Easter sign with lines that I made using brown acrylic paint pen, and then I scored the lines with one of my utility knives, just to give it a little bit of dimension and make it a little bit more real. And then I just smudged it with a baby wipe. And now it's ready to go. So I'm getting so good at my CRICUT. I'm so proud of myself. I actually know what I'm doing finally. And I'm following the style of Brenda's, where she put the hello horizontally and then the F-A-L-L letters vertically. I'll put the fonts I used in the description box below, because I don't remember offhand, but it was just a simple cursive font. I just picked one that I liked, that I thought would be easy to use. And I flip it upside down, you'll see, and pull the vinyl paper off. And by doing it upside down like that, it makes it so much easier. And then it's easy to eyeball the placement because of the shiplap lines that I put down. I scrunched my letters together on the CRICUT, so I wouldn't use as much vinyl while they were being cut out. So you'll see I had to cut each letter out individually. But that really wasn't too difficult. And I think it makes it easier when you're applying them. And you'll see I'm just kind of eyeballing the placement. And the way I set them down, I ended up actually liking just the letters together. And so off camera, you'll notice at some point I cut off the top of the sign. The part that had the egg cut out. I was actually going to wrap that with some rope or a scarf or something, but I decided I liked it a little bit more compact. So I'm just going to do the decor on the top and bottom, a little bit like how Brenda did it, but I did my own spin on it. And I have these half beads. I don't know if they're like 16 or maybe 18 millimeter. 6 beads on each piece of paint stir stick, which I just cut to size using a utility knife. Then you'll see I used some wood glue and finished it off with some hot glue on the edges for that extra hold and the long-term hold. And I hadn't used my glue gun for a couple weeks, so it was kind of messing up on me there. You'll see the glue is a yellow color, and I think it's just because it sat in the gun for so long. So there you see the top of my sign that's been cut off. And I'll go in off camera and put a hanger on it, but I'm probably just going to lean it. Couldn't decide whether or not to put flowers on the top or bottom, so you tell me what you think when you see the final reveal. So shout out to Connie from Connie's Creative Creations for creating this playlist, formerly known as Here's Your Crown. It comes out every month, and her co-host this month is Amanda from Six Kids and a Glue Gun. It's important in the crafting, for women in the crafting community to be a community and not a competition. And that's the point of Connie's playlist, for women to build each other up and not, to be in competition. So props to Connie for creating this playlist, and I'm honored to be a part of it. And keep watching. Okay, so project number 2 is a recreation of Brenda's recreation. She recreated a Hobby Lobby creation, and I'm recreating her recreation because I like hers better. So we start with the foam Dollar Tree pumpkins, and I used, I think this is celery, and I didn't start with white because I wanted to try and dull down the orange, because last year when I was painting pumpkins, I had a lot of pink looking pumpkins that took a lot of coats of white before they didn't look pink. So I thought maybe this celery would help. I could not find my cottage white, and this is old house paint that is globby and watery in places. It was a mess, and then I was so frustrated because I committed to this white pumpkin, and here I couldn't find my white paint. I do find it later then, so all's well that ends well. I went ahead and chose some, I think these are 14mm and 16mm beads. And like Brenda, I went ahead and put them down first and painted them after. And there's my paint. Yay! I used a sponge brush so I could get into the nooks and crannies without having weird brush strokes, because the foam on the pumpkin is kind of unforgiving. It pretty much shows, a lot of your swishes and strokes and stuff. So I went ahead and poured out some of my cottage white and just took my time. And I believe what I did is I went over the front of the string of beads and then wiggled it in on the sides, and then of course just painted regularly the spots in between. I chose to do just 5 strands of beads. I don't actually remember how many Brenda used, but I thought 5 looked good. I like odd numbers, so that's what I did. And the white came out so nice. So there's the Minwax that I decided I was going to use real stain. And I believe it said transparent oak or oak with transparency. But it kind of looks gray to me. It doesn't really look oaky. And I was a little disappointed. And I sucked it up and kept going because there wasn't really anything I could do at that point. Brushed it on and then used a baby wipe to sort of smooth it out and maybe dull down the darkness of the gray. And I used gloves because I was using real stain, and I suggest that you all use gloves as well. I also had my ceiling fan going because it is kind of smelly, so you don't want to be breathing in those fumes. So at least with the ceiling fan, it was circulating. I got these wood stems at Dollar Tree. I grabbed 2 bags of them when I saw them, and they actually are perfect for this use. So I slathered the bottom of it with some hot glue and just kind of wedged it in there. And it's the perfect height too, so really lucked out with those wood stems. So I suggest if you see them, you grab a couple bags. I have that eucalyptus stick that I got from Amazon, and then these leaves are from Dollar Tree. And I just kind of made a little fall bouquet. And pretty much, like I glued together the leaves to make the little bouquet, but then I pretty much just kind of jammed them into the styrofoam. And that's what's nice about the material this pumpkin is made of, is you can do stuff like that. You don't have to worry about gluing it and having it fall off. So that's kind of cool. I also, towards the end of this video, made a little bouquet for the stand as well. And I tried to stay true to Brenda's rendition. I just globbed on some hot glue there to put on the stand, and then I wrapped some Dollar Tree twine around the candlestick holder in various parts, and I put together a little bouquet of the fall leaves, the green leaves, and those little beaded things, like a beaded stick. I'm not sure what you call them. Not pit berries. I forget. Anyways, they were white, orange, and green, and I just glued that onto the stem there, onto the, I'm sorry, not the stem, the candle holder. And I'm going to show you guys a better look at this, at the final reveal. Okay, so project number 3 is the slatted hanging pumpkin, and I'm apologizing now because this portion of the video is actually a series of screenshots. My footage got corrupted and I couldn't edit it, but I could watch it and take screenshots. So that's what I did because I really liked the end result and I really didn't want to toss it. So it's basically, I created a slatted pumpkin. When Brenda did hers, she actually had a pumpkin that was already in slats. I did a faux slat, I guess you would call it. And I just took various materials to make the slats. I used a piece of tape so that each slat was a uniform width. I used different materials. The aqua blue is from a placemat. The 2 black and white ones are from Dollar Tree vinyl. And then you have that together placemat on top. And I just used either a pair of scissors or a utility knife to cut it to shape or to cut it to size. I used some Dollar Tree ribbon for the bow. And then I took some wood glue and hot glue on this other Dollar Tree sign. And I adhered the 2 together, and there you have it, and I'll give you a better look at the final reveal. Don't forget to subscribe and give me a big thumbs up. See you soon.